and how are you lovelies today? It is 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting a late start to my day, but that's okay. I'm making a little breakfast here. I'm making some hash. Thought I'd bring you along. So this is Chrissy cooking at home, and I am Chrissy. So I started chopping these potatoes, and I thought, you know what? I don't care. There's a million videos on hash or cutting potatoes or, whatever. No. I know I don't cut my potatoes the way a professional chef would. I'm not using the knife the way a professional chef would. I do have my neurological issues. I do have loss of feeling in my hands with neuropathy. It's not just my hands, it's my whole body, basically. It's roaming numbness. And then I have tremors. You see? Functional tremors. Now, at the moment, they're pretty good. The medications the doctors put me back on after having my baby girl 5 weeks ago have helped tremendously. So I'm going slow and careful so I don't cut myself, because I do keep my knives very sharp. Sharpen them. I just sharpened them Sunday, and today is, no, I sharpened them Saturday, but today is Wednesday. So I'm roughly doing a small dice, and I'm trying to get them all roughly the same shape and size, but I am not squaring off my potatoes like a chef would to get perfect shapes. I'm not wasting potato. So I did 3 fairly large Idaho potatoes, because it's just 3 of us eating it, because Miss Nellie, 5 weeks old, she's not eating it. Now the first potato, I threw on some garlic powder, some seasoning salt, and some fresh cracked pepper. These are some juicy, juicy potatoes. We're going to use some more pepper. I don't think that's enough. Slightly bit more of Lowry's seasoning salt. Gotta be careful with that stuff. And then I accidentally bought fine powdered garlic when I wanted granulated garlic. That was my bad. Didn't realize it till I opened it and went to use it, and it was like, oops. So it's a little bit more of a pain to deal with because it clumps, especially when you add it to like tomato sauce. Like I was making chicken parm the other day and I added it to tomato sauce, and it was like, what? Why? Okay, these are some juicy ass freaking potatoes. Sorry. Potty mouth. Been living in New York for too long, I think. So what I have, I'm making hash with Idaho potatoes. And I made yesterday French dip sandwiches. Well, there was leftover beef. We didn't use all 3 pints to have our French dip sandwiches. Sometimes we use a lot of the beef, and sometimes we don't put as much on our sandwiches. So, this is just roast beef that I had canned with onions and garlic in the meat in the pressure canner. And then I threw it in some au jus to bring up to temperature and get it nice and shredded. My voice is shaky today. Okay, so there's our hairy butt. I'm going to cut off our top. Keep our hairy butt intact. That's what I call it sometimes. I don't know why. But last night I couldn't sleep. I had made Logan some barbecue sauce because he doesn't do French dip style before. He likes to take the meat and put it on the French bread, and then the cheese, and then put barbecue sauce on his meat. It's the way he's always done it. We just calculate the carbs for his diabetes and we're good. But we were out of barbecue sauce. So I told him I can make barbecue sauce. You used to like Mommy's barbecue sauce. And so I made barbecue sauce. I thought it tasted great. It was too much vinegar for him. So I kept playing with it. I kept adding more and more tomato sauce to it, more and more sugar, until it was palpable to him. Then I had way too much barbecue sauce. Miss Nellie, when I was pregnant with her, really turned me off to anything barbecue, including dry rub. I don't know why. You know, pregnancy. It's weird. Does weird things. Okay, I put about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in my really deep skillet here, and I can smell the oil is hot. We're going to add our potatoes. Spread them out evenly and add the onion, the minced onion, sprinkle on top. Do I want a whole onion or half an onion? What kind of an onion mood am I in? If only you could talk back to me. Well, you'll talk to me in the comments if you feel like it. But anyways, I digress. I took that barbecue sauce last night when I couldn't sleep, and I canned it. I've never canned barbecue sauce before, so I got on the National Center for Home Food Preservation websites, looked up the barbecue sauce, and then water bath canned it according to my altitude, according to their directions for my altitude. That's what I meant to say. This is an old onion. It's soft. It's still good, especially for making hash. Make sure we got it nice. All right, I'm gonna do the whole onion. It's a pretty big onion, though. So seasoning salt, fresh cracked black pepper, and some garlic powder or granulated garlic. You know. Hell, even use the jarred minced, or, you know, chop up some fresh or pressed. I don't chop anymore. I got a garlic press now. And on a good day, I can use it. Alright, so I'm not going to stir the onions in. I'm going to leave them on top. And then, you know what? We're going to add beef now. Because this is really cold. It's just pulled out of the fridge. So you can see it's pretty finely shredded. So I'm not going to do anything but sprinkle it on top of the onion that's sprinkled on top of the potato. Or as my sweetheart gets kicked out of me saying, taters. Grew up calling them taters in the Midwest, so yeah, just, Hoosier girl from Indiana. Put the lid on, put the sink, put that in the sink, and I'm just going to let that cook on medium. I have a super power burner going, so put a medium heat on that super power burner. Put my guys on the side here, so that they can stop reaching their hands into the sink. I will show you the skillet in just a second. Let me wash my hands again. I gotta get rid of my scraps, they're all over the counter. Do. I've been using, put them in there. Potato peels, onion, cherry butts. And wash my hands again. More stuff. I think I gotta refill my hand soap containers. Logan's good about washing his hands because of his diabetes. That'll get washed in a bit. planning on canning today, but I might. Who knows? I do hope to make bagels today. Homemade bagels. I do miss that because I was on bed rest for nearly 7 months. And I mean, I didn't do diddly squat. I got off bed rest for like 2 weeks, canned something, I think it was potatoes, in that time frame. And then went back to the doctor, had developed new problems, opposite to the other one, and back on bed rest. So, there, I hear my Miss Nelly girl. She's a fussin'. Daddy's changing dirty diaper for me. So, taking it off here. Come here, lovelies. Don't mind the dirty stove. I haven't cleaned it yet this morning. Kind of working in the dark last night. Get all that? Ignore this. Look at my headband. Isn't it pretty? I love this headband. So I'm growing out my hair, getting rid of the mohawk. You know, using those pregnancy hormones to my advantage. But what happened was my hair actually practically stopped growing for the pregnancy, and then after I delivered her 5 weeks ago, my hair has taken off. It's weird. Our bodies can do weird things. I look at it as my body was trying to send as much nutrients to my baby girl as possible, because we found out there was issues. After she was born, they did pathology on her placenta, and there was issues, so that's why they took her early. But I digress. I'll bring you back when the hash is done. I'm going to let it sit and cook with the lid on over medium before I stir it. I'm probably going to give it about 3 more minutes, and then I'll stir it and then put the lid back on and not touch it. So that way the potatoes can get nice and crispy, but the onions are on top, so they're not going to caramelize too much and burn, but we'll get the nice good onion flavor. Bring you back. Let me bring you back for the barbecue sauce thing. So I meant to make a small batch for him, right? Just a little bit for dinner, maybe a little extra to put in the fridge and a salad dressing bottle. I have those kind of squeeze bottle condiment things got from the dollar store that I put homemade dressings in. But I got 6 pints out of what I meant to make a small batch of. Plus what he ate on 3 sandwiches, which wasn't a whole lot. It was like tablespoon and a half per sandwich, so not a whole lot, but what he did was perfect enough to give me exactly 6 pints and maybe a couple extra drops that I just washed down the drain in the skillet. But check this out, my very first batch of barbecue sauce, and I did it in half pints because currently Logan is the only one who is eating barbecue. So I digress. I'll bring you back for the hash. Okay, I have stirred it twice. It's got some nice caramelization on the onion and the nice crispy brownness on potatoes. Let me show you. You see that? Focus. Focus, phone. I swear I'm getting a camera soon. Look, beautiful color. So, put you over here. Hopefully you can still hear me. What I'm doing now is, what I like to do with this beef hash is crack 6 eggs, 6 to 8 eggs on top, put the lid back on, and let it cook until the yolks are runny and the whites completely cooked through. So over medium, basically. But sunny side up style. So you can also make little pockets for these eggs if you want. Like I've done that before, like create little divots in the hash. So just go around in a circle. When I get a camera, you'll be able to see this better. But I will show you once I get them in the hash. Before I put the lid on. There we go. I did an impromptu spam hash last year sometime. but we really prefer using the home canned beef or pork. I don't buy canned corned beef, so I will use leftover corned beef when I make corned beef to do hash. It's rare that we have corned beef left over. I mean, we gobble that up. But I'm just going to give this a few minutes and stand here and stare at it until the whites on top of the yolk are completely white instead of translucent. And then I will use my finger and touch around the yolk to see if it's firm or jiggly, slimy, snot-like still. If it's jiggly, slimy, snot-like, I give it another 30 to 60 seconds, depending on how snotty it feels. I hope that doesn't gross you out. Be right back. I will mention that I do prefer to use my home canned potatoes to do this hash, or any hash really, because they just hold up so well. But we ran out of those a long time ago while I was on bed rest, so fresh potatoes it is. And I'm slowly getting back to doing things. I'm 2 days away from being 6 weeks postpartum. I see my doctor next week to hopefully get released from all these restrictions from having a C-section. I know I'm already doing more than I'm supposed to be doing. I've been trying to build up to it. I'm getting there. I know this was instant for you, but this was really only about 3 minutes to get the eggs the way I wanted them. This does not move. It's shiny from sweat coming off the lid, but the yolk, see how it jiggles? So I've turned off the heat and it is now ready to eat. Didn't that look yummy? So what I'm going to do after I sign off from you is crack some fresh pepper over each egg. It's just a little teeny weeny bit. It's so good. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you lovelies next time. Bye.